What's up, y'all? Wanted to talk today about a psychological hypothesis that's held true through the years called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. Okay, so you're gonna see this board. We have two axes here. Okay, this bottom axis is competence. How much do you know about something? Over here is confidence, whereas that's talking about obviously how do we feel like we know what we know, right? So this is our um, perceived abilities versus actual abilities, and looking to compare those. So two researchers, Dunning and Kruger, described this hypothesis as basically a cognitive bias, right? So what happens here, and what we see in a lot of cultures, not all, but especially in North American cultures, is that we get a lot of confidence before we get competence. Okay, so it's a weird little phenomenon that happens, and I'm obviously going to relate it to fitness because that's what I do. Okay, and give some examples of how I see it in the fitness industry. But what we have here is you know nothing, but you also have no confidence in that subject. Okay, so that's starting point. But what will happen is someone will learn a little something and their confidence will skyrocket almost to the peak, right? And we call this peak the peak of Mount Stupid, okay? And we call it this for a reason. You learned a little bit, but now all of a sudden you think you know a lot, and you think you know kind of everything, right? Now, keep in mind, Dunning-Kruger effect is probably topic specific, okay? Just because someone's on the Mount Stupid with fitness doesn't mean they're on Mount Stupid with some other aspect of their life. Their expertise in framing houses, right? They might be expert out here in framing houses, but on Mount Stupid when it comes to fitness, okay? So I see this all the time. And personal story, I definitely went through this when I was a new trainer. Thought I knew everything. I had a bachelor's degree, I had good knowledge, but I overestimated my abilities, and I stayed on Mount Stupid for quite a while. Okay, but we'll continue that story in a minute. Okay, so you hit Mount Stupid, and then if you continue to learn, if you don't stay on Mount Stupid, it's a trap. Okay, but if you don't stay there and you start to learn, then you take this big dive in your confidence. Okay, your confidence goes from sky high and then it plummets. And they call this the valley of despair, okay? Because you went from being on top of the world to thinking you know almost nothing, right? And so for me, this happened when I started my master's program, and I had had success as a trainer. I had helped a lot of people already, but I had limited myself in many aspects by thinking that I knew more than I knew. So I kind of kept myself stagnant. I wasn't progressing, and I grossly overestimated my ability and my knowledge. I, really thought that I could do and knew more than I really did at that point. And I trusted opinions of people, that I came across, and trusted ideas that I was comfortable with, and didn't take the time to actually go research it, find out for myself, see what the literature is saying. And I was afraid to challenge my ideas and perspectives because I knew that it would require a lot of work for me to go find out for sure, right? But that's what my master's program did for me, and I'm obviously grateful for that. Okay, so we slide off of Mount Stupid into the Valley of Despair. One warning about the Valley of Despair. What I see for a lot of people is they come off of Mount Stupid, they hit Valley of Despair, and then they crash through it, and they get what they call Imposter Syndrome. Okay, so that's kind of a downside of the Valley of Despair, is that you might get so low in your confidence that now you've developed Imposter Syndrome, and it cripples you and prevents you from being the effective tool that you've become. Because look, our competence grew, right? We know a lot more than when we were on Mount Stupid, but now we feel like absolute shit, and we don't want to do anything because we're scared that anything we do might get torn apart at that point, because we just tore apart everything we thought we knew. So now we're a little gun shy and we don't necessarily want to open ourselves up for criticism again. Okay, and that happened to me too. Hit my master's, started questioning everything that I was told, everything that I learned, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. And I never want to go through that feeling again of having everything that I relied on opinions of friends and relied on other people's opinion to be truth and found out that it was wrong. Okay, so I didn't want to go through that again. So imposter syndrome hit me and still affects me to this day. But can't guide you on how to avoid that, but it might happen. You need to be aware of it so you can work to come out of it. Okay, so out of the valley of despair, they call this the slope of enlightenment. Okay, so you hit your low and you start coming out of it. You realize now that, hey, I'm becoming better and better at what I do, and your confidence starts to go back up a little bit. And then they call this top point the Plateau of Sustainability. At that point, you're basically an expert in your field, and you should have higher confidence. Some graphs show this, Plateau of Sustainability as being as high as Mount Stupid. I don't think it is. I don't see too many like true experts in the field, some of the best guys out there. I don't see them that high and arrogant as we are when we hit Mount Stupid. So I think it's a little lower, but we're pretty confident in what we know because we put in the time and effort. Okay, and so that's when it becomes valid for you to be that confident because of everything that you've produced to that point. One thing, examples, Mount Stupid I see in the fitness industry. Okay, see this all the time. I just did a powerlifting meet. Now I'm an expert, right? I just did a bodybuilding show. Whoop, watch out, training people because I'm an expert, right? I ain't dogging on anyone who's done this, okay? You know some things. You learned a few things. But the world of fitness, the body of research that's out there, the potential for research, the areas that we still haven't figured out are huge, okay? They're massive. And everything you learned during that contest prep is good, but you're scratching the surface, okay? Hey, just got my NASM, right? Expert. No, you're not. You're not. You just got started, okay? Training certifications are a baseline. They are an entry. They will make sure you don't kill your client, okay? That's a good thing, but you're not an expert, okay? You will need time and much, much more research to be an expert in the field of exercise science, okay? It's gonna take a lot. And guess what? Just degrees don't do it either, okay? I was on Mount Stupid after my bachelor's degree, and that's way more intense than doing a personal training certification, okay? 4 years, broad perspective, I was still on Mount Stupid, okay? You have to differentiate it. It's not just a certain degree, it's not a certain certification, it's not just an experience like bodybuilding or powerlifting or anything like that. That doesn't make you an expert. It is time, effort, guided research from professionals, okay? This isn't Google research, real research, okay? And that's what will take you along and increase you in competence, okay? So even my master's program, a lot of people went through it. They're dumb as a box of rocks. I was reading their homework, I was basically peer reviewing their homework. They're still here. They're maybe here, but they're still not as good as they thought they were, right? And neither was I. So it takes individual effort and continual effort to really take yourself to that expert level, which is debatable of whether or not I'm like a true expert. I believe I'm really, really good. I've learned a lot. I think I can really help people. Am I like the top in the world? No, I'm not. I still have area for improvement. And that's kind of why I don't love the plateau of sustainability. I believe, yes, I'm an expert, but do I believe I'm plateaued? No, I hope not, because I want to learn more. There's still things to research. I want to get better. So that's just some examples of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Here's the thing. If you don't know if you're on Mount Stupid, you might be on it, okay? So just check your bias. Check your bias. What do you know? Do you speak in absolutes? Do you say, hey, this is this way and that's the way it is, you're probably on Mount Stupid, okay? Do you say absolute statements that just have no gray area? That's a sign that you might be stuck in your ways. So don't get caught in that. Find more, research more, get a good mentor, and just keep digging.